building the industry also means building the people around the industry, right? So you don't have an industry through coffee beans and real estate and gadgetry. You need
Mm,
people. And and um, and I've actually come from a background of community and people development.
mm,
What I saw in coffee, as you mentioned, was an opportunity to continue that work, but uh, through a more entrepreneurial and business mindset. And having those values that, hey, we're gonna build the people in coffee. So elevating the barista was one of the core goals that I had. Um, the food industry in Pakistan, probably in the last decade or more really grew. Chefs have become celebrities. Food channels have their own channels,
wow.
right? Find baking chefs at home that compete, I think, anywhere in the world. So why not in coffee?
This episode is proudly brought to you by Mapper Forward's workshop. It's time to become a coffee consultant. Learn how to diversify your revenue streams and create freedom from your day job while saying goodbye to that alarm clock forever by becoming a consultant within the coffee industry or directly to consumers who have shifted towards home brewing and home roasting. Protect your income from challenging times in the coffee value chain by taking this course today. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 2 of a 5-part series with Faisal Khan from Nomad Coffee Studios in Pakistan. And we're talking about Pakistan as an emerging coffee market. In the last episode, we talked about the landscape of the coffee industry in Pakistan. And in this episode, we're going to talk about why it's so significant that Pakistan is an emerging coffee market. We ended the last episode where I kind of asked you to talk about what the cafe looks like in Pakistan. And look, a lot of people, just like in the Middle East, they have these preconceived notions of what living in the Middle East looks like, what serving coffee in the Middle East looks like, what the day-to-day life looks like. And then they come here and they're like, oh, damn, I've got it so wrong. And in my mind,
Yeah.
one of the reasons it's so important that we talk about this and focus on the fact that Pakistan is an emerging market is because of this thing that people around the world are going to think like, I would never go to a cupping session in Pakistan because, I don't know if I'm in danger or I'm not in danger or what's happening in there, right? And just to be very clear, Lee gets nothing out of this. We're not selling anything here. I'm not going to be doing an event in Pakistan anytime soon. Just to be very clear. I know you guys are probably sick of me making that disclaimer, but I have to continue to make that disclaimer. Tell me why, Faisal, in your mind, this is so important. And I suspect somehow it connects back to your humanitarian work or your previous life. Maybe not.
So, I mean, I think to put it in context, as I put earlier, Pakistan is a huge market in terms of numbers. The demography is under 30. 60% of the population is under 30, rapidly urbanizing, and a fairly globally connected population. But it's been through a lot of economic stress. What you perceive and see globally about Pakistan, I think, is maybe the challenges in perception and how the global media is today. But there is major urban centers here. I mean, if I were to compare, to give you a stat, Pakistan is the largest importer of tea in the world. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, and I think second comes the US. And so the value of that ranges, I think, from around 500 to $700 million. If you compare
Wow.
that, where the coffee is today, is probably between $3 to $5 million, right? And I just described to you how the the urban space is changing and how the coffee consumer is evolving. And if you just look at that statistic, nothing is happening. I mean, as I say to many people, we're not a tea drinking nation nor a coffee or a milk drinking nation. We just like milk and something infused in it, right? And so that transition, as people start drinking more coffee, as the cafe culture thrives, we don't have a public alcohol culture, and it's not permitted. And so a lot of the socialization has in public spaces has to happen in restaurant cafes or elsewhere. And so the coffee shop is taking that space, where young people who want to get out and do things are meeting and hanging out at coffee shops. Either it's for work socialization, personal socialization. Um, I've never seen so many foreigners in Pakistan in the last 2 decades, from all the way from where I live in Karachi. There is a lot of Chinese investment coming in. There's a lot of investments coming in e-commerce, a lot of manufacturing companies coming in. It's a very consumption-based economy. But we have a beautiful northern areas of Pakistan, which is has it having a sort of a tourism revolution, and it's historically a big climbing destination. And so we've always existed. We've been through our challenges, but it's not as if every corner and every street of the country is in trouble. We're not a war zone. We have a state, we have a working economy, and we have people who love coffee, and we have I think a very sort of entrepreneurial population that wants to go and do something. And especially where the state is weak, people do end up exploring and finding ways to survive and be resilient. Um, um, so your question about the landscape of coffee and how I got into it, obviously building the industry also means building the people around the industry, right? So you don't have an industry through coffee beans and real estate and gadgetry. You need people, and and I've actually come from a background of community and people development. What I saw in coffee, as you mentioned, was an opportunity to continue that work, but uh, through a more entrepreneurial and business mindset, and having those values that, hey, we're gonna build the people in coffee. So elevating the barista was one of the core goals that I had. Um, the food industry in Pakistan, probably in the last decade or more really grew. Chefs had become celebrities. Food channels have their own channels,
Wow.
right? Find baking chefs at home that compete, I think, anywhere in the world. So why not in coffee? Because the guy
100%.
behind her was just a waiter. And then he was told, oh, can you use a blender? So why don't you just go and press some buttons on the machine? So no one was investing in his education. I personally think the reason we got late in coffee is the food entrepreneur just got lazy. I think the
Ah,
customer was there. he just was disappointed each time because you got
Mm.
these Italian traders to push over roasted oily coffee, and then in which we needed a lot of milk and sugar to mask it, and was always under extracted or over extracted, right? And and if the cafe and the restaurant entrepreneur was doing fine, he didn't really need to go invest in coffee. Nor did he have trade professionals to help him do that in any better way. Actually, I've heard baristas who've had like Italian companies, brands who've had, oh yeah, I had a trainer from Italy who came in one day and told me to grind all my coffee in the morning, right? And use it throughout the day. I was like, but you don't have a line out the door. So why are you grinding all your coffee in the morning? It's like that's what that guy said, right? And so there was this really lopsided knowledge around coffee, which we've had to take the burden of fixing and educating, which is still very hard because what's happening is commercial coffee is coming, Tim Hortons is here, and at the same time, the speed of which independent coffee shop is growing is probably 2, 3 per week.
Wow.
And so there's going to be some dysfunctionality, but it's, I think, a healthy dysfunctionality because the investor and the entrepreneur also needs to see something, right? And where you come from such a sort of ground zero, you want to see numbers, you want to see potential. And I think now you can see the possibility of selling 1,000 cups in a shop or even more. And I think that's the beauty of it, right? Like, okay, so now how do you help that guy sell 1,000 cups consistently? And that becomes our job. And that's where the industry becomes okay. So, which means what's your weakest link? Is the person behind the bar. How much have we invested in it? How much is his life changing? So we're gonna have 1,000 coffee shops, but are we investing in 1,000 young men and women to become great baristas? Are they gonna have job security? Are they gonna be able to earn enough to build their homes? Because I think those are important questions for an industry that wants to call itself specialty, wants to say, I'm going to do great coffee, dark trade. It's going to be specialty. It's going to be transparent. But the guy behind the bar can make ends meet, right? And so we're trying to contribute and ask those questions. The salary of the barista, I think, is improving. Baristas are now getting paid probably the highest ever. They're more in demand than ever, also. But I think and obviously new entrepreneurs are investing more in them. But there's still a lot of room for where the industry wants to and intends to go to invest in people in the long run. And I think that's what's going to change the industry. If you want to do high quality or coffee, and what I like to call is like what Nomad does is building pathways towards high quality coffee. And one pathway is building, training people. We recruit and train for a lot of coffee shops. Um, but training is not a one-time thing. It has to be continuous. It has to have a foundation where you can give a young person a career, self-respect, and I mean, so we did. I mean, and I've discussed this with you. So we did this boot camp a few weeks ago where so we've been really busy in the supply chain over the last year, and now we're back into sort of our new roastery and doing a lot more engagement work this winter. And so we sat down and we were discussing what baristas want to learn, and they want to learn about latte art, of course. Then I learned about brewing because it's cool, it looks great. Then I was like, yeah, but don't they want to learn about coffee? It's like, oh yeah. So I'm teaching something. So I'm doing a lecture on our third season on what is coffee, and it's really about coffee as a food. I remember I did my first lecture on coffee in 2016 or 17 in Karachi at a cafe. But so I've been doing this that long and teaching young people. But the other guys were like, well, they need to know how to do other things as well. And the conversation came up that we should teach them how to do photography or how to use their Insta. I was like, yeah, and we should teach them how to, what are the ethics of that, right? And this is just a sort of a free workshop where baristas come in. And so the last week, my business manager was like, man, one of your clients is really unhappy. I was like, yeah, what happened? He's like, his baristas are fighting about who's going to come in and attend the boot camp. And I'm like, is this really that big a thing? He's like, yes, it is. And that's the level of
Impact.
scarcity.
Well, yeah.
And
Impact
yeah.
and scarcity. There's such a hunger for
Yeah.
quality information, and the impact that that quality information has on an emerging workforce. They feel seen. We talk about this all the time, right? Baristas who have before this didn't really have an kind of an alternative, like the options that were available to them of where they could go and make their mark were perhaps unattainable. This has given them an option of somewhere where they can go, they can learn, they can have a future. I mean, it's very exciting for them. My question, how much of your education is SCA?
So we're
Because everybody's thinking that. Everyone who's listening to you is like, well, you know, he's probably got an SCA accredited school and he's charging for these certificates. Are you SCA accredited?
no, we're not. So one of the challenges of building a market in sort of the frontier of coffee, an emerging market, is building for the market. And so the SCA coursework or the SCA world, I think, is not built for us. As I said earlier on, what we want to do is build and contextualize for the problems in our industry and to the level of the industry. Most of our baristas barely have 10 years of education, and that's not great education. Whereas we're just starting off, need to rationalize the investment that they're going to make on people, and they want to see results. They want to see retention. And so what we are doing, what a part of Nomad sort of engagement workshop is building our own academy, our own coursework that addresses the needs of our human resources in the industry, which may mean doing things in local language, which may mean understanding what is the water quality here, what are the misunderstandings here, what is the culture here, and also at the level of sort of the needs of the customers, of the roaster, and for example, even if you're teaching about machine maintenance and you have 20% of the industry using used machine, or the differences between a dozer grinder and an on-demand grinder. So there's a lot of knowledge that has to be catered to based on where the industry is today. And the investors want to invest as much as he can before he wants to see results, right? So we're not really SCA driven. I personally have not found support in sort of the world of SCA. I've thought that building something locally, and that's most of my mentors and people have advised me, is to work with the knowledge that we have and the teachers that we have and the lessons that we've learned. And I think it's working because we don't have to hit a home run in day one. We have to fix a problem one by one, and so it's a long process, as I said, and that's why we are a studio, right? We're figuring it out. We're not saying we've become the best roastery in the world or we're the first. It's just we're in the process of becoming, and so we
Wow.
so we like to stay to that core, right? And then so we're gonna learn, right? So we may have ideas that fail, but if you're adaptable, you're flexible, you're not committed to a dogma, you're not technocratic because you're dealing with people. That I have to go and explain to everyone that specialty is 80, 82. Well, 80 when? 80 at the farm, 80 on the sea, 80 after roasting, 80 with what water, right? And there are people who are stuck in that paradigm here, and I wish they would get out of it because that technocratic definition doesn't work. The customer is not asking your cupping score before he brews it. We drink coffee for pleasure, not for an intellectual stimulation. And we don't have to have an inferiority complex about we have to do coffee that way. We have to do coffee our way. And the beautiful part, I think, of figuring out coffee our way is just that, figuring it out, I think. I think if we have to follow dogma, it would not be fun anymore. And everything would be an assessment. Uh, and I think there's a long way to go, but I think it's going to be very enriching. I think a lot of baristas should know about business. I think a lot of baristas should know about inventory and supply chain. They don't know how to order coffee. I wonder if that's in the SCA book, right? I mean, um, uh, so there's a lot. I mean, a lot of our baristas need a lot of help in communication. And so I think if I mean I would encourage even people in our industry to invest in that, to invest in us, to be able to do that, because the foundation of the industry is going to be young men and women who have job security, who are smarter, and they're smart as hell. They're passionate as hell. They're as passionate as us, right? So they don't have to be in the background. Yeah, someone's going to come and pick up your top barista. That's okay. You should be have the ability to train another one and be happy with people moving on. That's another food and beverage insecurity that's prevalent. I've trained my team from scratch. There are people who've opened laptops for the first time in my office, and now they're doing production roasting
Wow.
and can throw a good cortado down for you, and you're going to remember it at least for a few months.
Wow.
And they're still 23, 24, right? And so that's the culture. And a lot of the culture that I talk about is the culture that we live in our roastery. Even when the ceiling was falling off, we had a BWT ROC water filtration, right? We invested in the right things. We invested in towards quality rather than bells and whistles. Now we're getting a little bit of bells and whistles,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But you earned it, right? You didn't.
Yeah.
You built well.
Yeah. And I think that's something that you talk about. It's also about understanding how you make money and that it is a business. And obviously, for us to be successful, we have to have numbers, we have to have sustainability, and also for our producers. And also because since we're pioneering, we have to set an example of being responsible. But it is possible. It is possible to build culture. I think there's a lot of lesson in that. That, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for innovation because we're not going to have the hangups that we have to do coffee in a certain way. And I hope the market here doesn't move beyond that. There's still a lot of inferiority complex around, oh, we don't know coffee, coffee always has to be black and coffee always has to be done this way. But I think there's firstly, look at facts. How people drink coffee globally. Yeah, mostly people drink it with milk.
And sugar.
And sugar. Yeah. And even coffee producing nations, even people who are farming that coffee.
100%.
And so it's okay. I mean, coffee can be an ingredient, can be a beverage. As long as you're selling it and you're paying fairly for it, the farmer is happy. No one's judging you. There's no coffee authority on how to do it. And but yeah, I mean, there's certainly challenges in an early market, but it's a beautiful place to be also. Yeah.
Which sets us up. First of all, folks, my friend Faisal Khan. Now you can understand exactly why he's my friend. Everything that he just said is how I wish all of our industries had been built with that kind of intentionality from the beginning. We would be in a very different place, in my opinion. But you also set us up perfectly for the next episode, which is about how the industry evolved in Pakistan and what challenges were being faced as it was emerging. So join us for the next episode, folks. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, friends. Please don't forget to show us some love by subscribing, liking, commenting, and most of all, sharing this podcast with your friends. Check the show notes for links, including our sponsors and our Patreon. And stay tuned for more great conversations on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward.